Welcome to episode number 11 of The Roar, the show for all things Hershey Cubs, players, coaches, personnel, and news. I'm Clay Thomas, your host and broadcaster for the Hershey Cubs. Joshua Gerhart will not be able to be with us this week. I hope he's having a fun time on vacation with his family. As today, we will have Cubs goalie coach Padraig Carey. Thank you for joining us. And how are you doing today? And how was your Christmas weekend?
Hey, thanks for having me. Just really excited to be here. Christmas was awesome. I just, had family come over and
Mhm.
big party and just, loved it. It was great.
It's always a great time, and it's like a little break, especially like everybody talks about players needing breaks and a long season, but the coaches need breaks too. It's a lot of stress for them as well.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Well needed a week off. We've been going pretty hard here since summertime, so it's nice to be able to kind of recharge the batteries and enjoy some time with family and friends. Just during the course of the year, being a coach, you miss out on some events and stuff. Just the nature of the business. But it was good to be able to get everybody in one place and enjoy everyone's company.
That's right. Same for broadcasters. We need a little bit of a break too, especially since the first half is loaded heavy with home games. The second half's not so much, but I know Josh and I could use a break as well. But so a little background on Coach Carey. He is from New Jersey, played his juniors growing up there and everything, and then he went to IUP, coaches at LVC, played for the Bears a little bit, as well, of course, as everybody knows, is the Cubs goalie coach, and he is also the PA director for our goalie academy, and since 2015, and he's been doing a lot of things with that. So I just want to, get down a little personal here. So what made you fall in love with the game of hockey, and what made you want to be a goaltender? I mean, it's the spotlight because everybody's always going to talk about you if you're doing bad, but at the same time, if you're holding people out, you're the biggest guy on the ice.
Yeah, I think being a goalie, everybody knows how the goalie played, right?
Yeah.
You had a good game, everybody sees it. You had a bad game, everybody sees it. But there, you hear more about it when you have the bad game, right? But no, just growing up, just kind of took to hockey. Obviously before you learn how to skate, you're playing road hockey, street hockey out on the street, and we had our neighborhood had a lot of kids, and we get little games together, and then was doing that, and then just kind of started organized hockey and took to that and learned to skate, skated out first,
Mhm.
and then goalie just happened. It just I like the challenge and it was something different, and I tried it and was just hooked. So
It's kinda like being the quarter like, for me, everything relates to football from my point of view because I didn't play hockey, but I did play other sports, and one of them, the main one was football, so for me, everything I always equate to what it's like versus a football in a football game. To me, goalie's kinda like being the quarterback or the linebacker, so to speak, at least on the defensive end, because like, you gotta work together with your D-men, right?
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, you guys got to be on the same page. Communication, it's huge, and you want to hear your D communicating with you, but you also, as a goalie, it's so important for you, not just the defense, but the forward. So you got to communicate back at them and let them know, the guy man on or things like that. Just let them know what's going on around them, and it's just so important. And I think it's coming a lost art. I think it's definitely something that we work a lot on with our goalies. Make sure we're always communicating, over communicating. We have different cues for different situations and things like that. But yeah, definitely like the quarterback. I mean, if you look at football, I mean, I think quarterback coach, right? They have their specific coach,
Yep.
and it's becoming the same way with goaltending. I think, teams and organizations are looking at goaltending and seeing how important the position is and knowing that they need, their own, specialized training and somebody that knows the ins and outs of the position.
How nice is it the fact that, Coach Boudreau, Brady, specifically, he coaches the defensive end a lot of the times for the Cubs. How nice is it for him to be like, to work with him and coach along with him to get a better understanding for how you guys want the players to play, considering he used to be a goalie as well?
Yeah. So, as a goalie, if you look at some of the best coaches, they were goalies, right?
Mhm.
Because you see the whole ice. You see everything: forecheck, back check, neutral zone. Everything's coming at you. You're watching the play develop, and for Brady, it's great working with Brady. He's got a wealth of knowledge about anything really. He's,
Oh, we
he's
found out about that.
yeah, but just talking to him, he played the position too, right? So being able to have conversations with him and bounce ideas off each other, and it's really nice to have somebody on the bench coaching the defense that has also been in the position.
So we cut out there a little bit, but we're gonna bring things real things back in a little bit. So we're gonna go back. You played for the New Jersey Renegades in your youth, and then you moved on to the Indiana University of Pennsylvania. Just speak on your time there and your experience with that hockey team and that school.
IUP was awesome school. Just can't say enough about it. Hockey program was great also. ACHA Division 1 program, and they do it right there. They treat it like, even though it's an ACHA, they treat it like it's a varsity sport.
Mhm.
Great great competition. We were my freshman year, we were top 25 in the country. We're playing the Liberties and Minot's and West Virginia and Pitt, and all the strong programs.
Mhm.
So it's really 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 good in that way. And then the rink, our own locker room, just it was just a good, strong program, and that's what drew me to it. Just like the way the coach is there. Um, Coach Glavich is there from when I was there. He's still there, now, and just the way they run the program, just really, 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 first class. And we
Mhm.
actually have a couple alumni from the Cubs, playing for them now. So I think that's awesome too.
You love to see the turnaround there. Did you have any specific favorite moment or experience that you had there in your time in your 4 years?
Oh man, IUP, you can have a lot of fun at that school. I would say probably one that sticks out to me. My first college shutout against WVU, actually.
Mhm.
That was, as a hockey moment, that definitely one that I don't forget. My freshman year, and then that same year we went to the league championship and lost to WVU again. Lost to them in
Ah.
the finals, but definitely my first shutout, home game. Uh, Really, really, really. When I think about hockey, there, it's one of the memories that I have.
It's a lot for a first year, especially as a freshman. That's pretty awesome though.
Yeah, yeah. I came in and it was me and a senior goalie, and he went down pretty early with an injury, and
Mm.
just kind of had took the reins and ran with it for a bit.
Yeah, sometimes that's all it takes, and it's unfortunate for the other guy. I mean, you never want somebody to get injured, but at the same
No,
time, you wanna step up and you wanna, help the team out and you wanna put forth your best effort. And,
yeah.
for, your time with the Hershey Bears, I know you were there for about it looks like 3 seasons. You just wanna speak on your time with the Hershey Bears and what that experience was like as well.
Yeah, so with Hershey, they're e-bug, so a lot of practice, but I have been lucky enough to be called to back up on 3 different occasions, and yeah, every time it's awesome.
Mhm.
It's really fun. I was just we moved out here after school, was playing in a men's league, and um, a couple guys from that work for the team are in the league too, and one morning they happened to need a goalie for morning skate, and called me, and I showed up, and the rest was kind of history. I got a lot of practices in, a couple training camps, and yeah, it's awesome being able to do that, and skate at that level with
Mhm.
those guys, and but also learn too, right? I mean,
Yeah.
being with them, uh, got to know their goalie coaches, Scotty Murray, Alex Westland, Yuha, who's been here now for 2 years, and kind of kind of reversing it, being back to becoming the player now, and well, when I'm on the ice, and then learning the game is ever changing, the position's ever changing. So seeing what they're doing at the highest levels, I can take from that, take what I learned from there and my conversations and what they're doing at the AHL level, NHL level, even, and take it back and try and implement it into what I do with the Cubs. I think it's awesome.
So that kind of transition just now as you kind of did that for us here a little bit, which is perfect. I love when that happens. But what drew you to coaching specifically? Was it just to kind of stay in the game, or did it something you kind of fell in love with?
Uh, I really had no plans in doing it. I kind of almost took a calendar year off from the time I stopped playing, my last college game to the time I started skating again,
Mhm.
and just kind of fell. People had always told me I'd make a good coach, and yeah, Darren Hirsch from Goalie Academy in Loudon, Virginia. I started working with him. Like when I got back on the ice, I just well, I got the itch again. What's trying to figure out a way to stay involved in the game. I reached out to Darren, who he was the goalie coach with the Reading Royals at the time, and I had known him just about the camps because we do a camp every year here in Hershey. So just reached out to him and said, hey, you looking to get back involved? You need goalie coaches or anything or any help at your summer camps in Hershey? Let me know. And just kind of took off from there. Started working with Darren. He does a great job with the goalies down by the DC and in Virginia and Maryland, and has his camp up here, and just enjoy working with him and his outlook on the game and who he is, and it just kind of took off from there. Then I started doing Hershey Junior Bears, mites to midgets, doing private lessons on the old puddle at the mini rink at Twin Ponds, and then from there ended up with LVC, and then after I'm still with LVC, and also picked up the Cubs as well when Bruce and Crystal started the team here.
So what's it like trying to juggle between being a coach for LVC as well as a coach for the Hershey Cubs?
Uh, I enjoy it. It's some days it can be tough because you're kind of your mind's in one place and you're
Mhm.
in another, and vice versa. But uh, for the most part, it's same rink. So my days are with the Cubs and with LVCs is Tuesdays and Thursdays. So in the morning I'm with the Cubs. So we'll come in, we'll have practice, have our meetings or video after practice, and then have my lunch, get a light workout in, and then I, put on my LVC hat and switch to the LVC side. And same thing, before practice, do a little video, get on the ice, have our practice, and call it a day. So it really works out. The setup is really really nice, and I'm able to do both. And I'm glad that there's enough time in the
Mhm.
day to. And sometimes it doesn't feel like it, but it's been working really well.
Yeah, and you don't have to really worry about the travel problem either. You're just right there. It's like, "Oh, I'm still
Yeah,
here. Got
just
everything I
walk
need."
down the hall.
Yeah, exactly. And so with the Cubs, you've got a couple really good goaltenders. They've both been doing well in MA and Johnny, both with
Yeah.
winning records. MA's 9-3-1. Just couldn't get that 10th win before the break. I really thought he would. It was a good way to or it was a strong first half of the year going into the second. Johnny's 6-2 with an 88% save percentage, and then MA with a 90% save percentage, both higher than last year. At least I know MA's is higher than last year, but just speak on those two and their work ethic and how well they've performed, especially on the back end for the defense and keeping the other team off the scoreboard.
Yeah, so I mean, I think all of our goalies, and you can't forget Luke and Westy in there either.
Right.
Our whole goalie, our whole goalie department is awesome this year. It's great to see them together, how they interact with each other. The four of them are like best friends, but they push each other,
Mhm.
in a good way. Ma has been great this year. It's his last year. Really want to see him move on to the next level. Hopefully, that's college at the NCAA level. That's his ultimate goal, and he's been playing well. Definitely, his last two weekends were awesome. Just obviously tough to see the game 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
but he played well.
Mhm.
I'm happy for him. same thing. He started out the year awesome, had a little bit of a lull around thanks before the Thanksgiving break, and now he's back, in prime form. And I'm excited to see what the rest of the second half of the season has in store for him, because I know if he can, keep this consistency, he gives us a chance to win every night. So, and that's what we want. And Johnny, he's been awesome. He's younger, and he's a guy that we're kind of looking to develop for the future, and out of necessity, kind of stepped up to fill the role when Westy got hurt early in the season. And he's a lot of fun. He keeps it interesting.
Mhm.
Conversations with him are hilarious. He's a good goalie, good goalie and hockey IQ. Skates well, moves well. He's got a really really bright future, and I'm excited to see what comes for him also. And I'm glad that obviously we're going to lose MA after this year just because of age out, but we know we have guys like Johnny and Luke and Westy ready to go. So
And that is a great thing, and I mean, Coach Brady spoke on that specifically, which was depth, and it's just so clear because at every single line and position, it just seems like you guys have players that can really lift and elevate this team to the next level, whether their name is called at a certain time or it's their time for their shift, and especially or if it's time to get the start in net. I mean, everybody has been playing so well this season, and it's great to see that, it's the same thing for the goaltending because like you said, Johnny's younger and you want him to flourish and grow for the future as well. And I know one thing that you had spoken on about MA specifically was, which I didn't even totally like, I didn't even realize until you told me about it, because his height, yes, it's an advantage for the fact that he's tall and can take up so much space in front of the net, but it's so easy for him to go from side to side because he's got less, it's quicker for him to travel just because of his legs.
yeah, yeah. I mean, he's got that size, right? I mean, it's. I remember when we were talking to this PL, a scout that works with us from Quebec, about him, and he's like 6'9". I was like, I'm not sure 6'9". I got to see some video here. And typically with guys at that size, sometimes they don't move as well. And Ma is a strong above average skater. Like, he's very 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 good at skating. He's good on his edges. He's quick. And for him, for his size, he's able to move that way, but he's also able to sacrifice depth in order to beat that lateral play, which is like I think you were getting at, what we were talked about, I think, before one of the last games.
Yeah,
But
and I think one thing I want to ask, because we all have to do it, but what's it like being a coach and having to actually look up to your player and try to try to guide him and teach him?
yeah, I'm not a big guy either, so I'm more like Johnny and Luke's height. But yeah, he's tall,
Yeah,
but yeah, it's fun. It's fun looking at pictures of me next to him. He towers over me, and a lot of the other guys on the ice, right?
everybody
It's
more
just,
or less. It feels like
yeah.
I feel like the only person who's close enough to him is uh now I'm blanking on his name. 2023. Why can't I say his name? Um, and I'm looking at the stat sheet right here as I can't even figure
What,
out
I'm saying, what number did you say?
23.
For us?
Yes. Or do we not have one? Am
Uh,
I just that ignorant today?
no.
This is a great moment in the podcast, I'll tell you what. Between this and our internet stops, it's been wonderful
Oh,
so far.
Alexis,
Yes, yes. I don't know
Alexi.
why. Yes, Alexis.
Yeah,
Yeah. Why couldn't
Alexis,
I think
Alexis.
of his name?
Yeah,
Oh, this is wonderful. Well, now I'm hitting my mic. This is
Alexi.
going great.
Yeah,
I think he's the only person I think that comes close in my eyes so far from what I've seen. I mean, standing next to him, he's a giant.
yeah. We're gonna cut that out though, right?
I might. Oh, we'll see.
Hey,
It's good content
we'll
nevertheless,
edit
but
that out. Yeah.
I'll like cut out the part. I don't know. We'll get back to it. Whatever. But now as a team as a whole, everything seems to be clicking like every weekend. Yes, you guys have lost some games. The end to that last half of the season, or to the last part of the first half of the season was a little rough, a couple heartbreakers, but it kind of just fuels the teams in general when you go down like that. But you get the reset button, you come back. How do you guys approach as coaches to your team? Like, hey, it's kind of a fresh start. We're in a good spot. Let's push and make this playoff push for real, and try to keep gaining some ground on the top spots in the standings.
Yeah, I mean, I think we put ourselves in a good position um, in the first half of the season. We're winning the games we're supposed to, and even the games that we've lost, we're still in them. So now it's just, here we are, second half of the season. Now it's just getting over that hump. And I think, even though, we weren't successful on the scoreboard last weekend, I think the play, the effort that the guys gave and the fact that there's no quit in them, I think that's just as important. And just getting over, like you said, it's just we got to get over that hump, and I think it's gonna come here in the second half. We have some tough games, but the guys they're gonna come back and they're gonna be rested. They'll be focused, and I think it's gonna be a really really good second half for us.
And I think that really speaks volumes to what this team is all about. They have that chemistry, they have the skill, you guys have the right players, but it's that heart. You get like it's never ending. I swear. It's just like even when you're down by multiple goals, it's still trying to come back, trying to come back. And then there are games where you guys do. And then there was one, I believe it was Elmira, or it might have been PAL. I can't remember which one, but it was like getting to the end and it's like, it's kind of looking a little bleak, but they just don't give up. And that's like one of the best attributes a team can have.
Yeah, there's just no quit in those players, and it's great to see. Same thing with the goalies. They don't. You could be down one goal, you could be down three goals. They don't want to let up the next goal. They don't want to lose the game. They want to do everything they can to keep the puck out of the net and give the guys in front of them a chance. So I think that tells a lot about a team is the way they're playing when things aren't necessarily going their way. If they're still playing the right way and they're still putting that effort in, they have that heart. It's only going to keep getting better.
And so I'll get to a question that Josh normally asks, and usually we ask the players, and I believe we asked Coach Brady. I don't think Coach Thompson, but do you specifically, when you were in your playing days, and then even now as a coach, do you have any game day type superstitions?
Oh, probably too many to count. You got to remember, I was a goalie, so
Yes, that's very true.
yeah. I mean, it's for me. I think it was ever evolving. Like I would have like a set routine, and then if you kind of go in a little bit of a slump or something, you change it up and try something new, and then that becomes whether it be I'm gonna tape my stick at this time and then get dressed, putting everything on the right side on first before the right skate first, and left skate, right pad, then left skate. And then you just keep on adding little things. I think as I got older into like junior in college, it was more than just which skate I put on first. It became more preparation,
Mhm.
and that's you know preparing, stretching, hand eye, and also visualization. I think that's huge, and that kind of became my routine. So it became less of the do this at this time, and then more of the preparation to be ready to play the actual game. That kind of became my routine, less than superstition.
I still think the weirdest one I've heard, and hey, you do you is what my always thing is when it comes to superstitions and whatnot. But Marco Taffo doesn't eat anything before a game. That one is just kind of like
Yeah, I
where
don't know.
where
I
does
don't know how.
where does your energy come from? I don't know. He's got something where he can. I don't know. That one's
Yeah,
the weirdest one I've heard.
I don't know if he just loads up the night before and he's just not hungry. I don't know. I
I
couldn't.
th-
I
I
would at
think
least
that's
have to get like a peanut butter and jelly in me before. before I get out there for one. I would have to have something. I don't know how he does it.
I think that was part of it. I think he just said he eats a really big meal like the night before, but I'm like, hey, you do you. You're playing well this year, so I'm not gonna judge you for it. But at the same time, I'm like, you gotta have something. But that's just me. Uh, but one thing, last thing before we run out of time here, because there's a set time limit on these Zoom meetings, but you are the I butchered it earlier, the central PA director for the goalie academy, and you've done a tremendous job with the Hershey Junior Bears, doing that as well. But what has that? Did I just lose audio, or did you lose?
Eh, Can you hear me?
Dang it! Yeah, I can hear you.
We
All right,
keep getting disconnected.
all right. It's fine. It's fine. We work with it. It's okay.
Uh,
So one last thing I wanted to touch on here before we close out, as we have a time limit on these meetings, is I butchered it earlier. I forgot to say the central PA director for the goalie academy, and you've done a tremendous job with that, especially with the junior bears. What does it mean to you to try to give back? I guess give back like your knowledge and being a helpful in like the youth hockey community.
it's awesome to be able to, whether it be youth hockey, the Hershey Pee Wee Quebec team, the Cubs, LVC. I think it's important to give back. I mean, hockey is a sport that it means a lot to me. The game has given me a lot too, and it's important for me to take the things that I've learned in my experiences and be able to pass them on to future goalies. I really, really enjoy doing it. I love it, and it really, 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 really important to me to be able to, and I'm lucky to be able to be in this position to do that.
That's very important, especially with all sports in today's youth. We got to keep things moving, keep getting that new and next generation into sports. It's a very important part into, the lives of kids growing up and everything. And especially with the way the world is. And, you want to always stay active. You don't want to just be sitting at home doing nothing all the time. So it's always great to try to get into that youth level and, inspire kids. And I believe every coach has that ability to inspire at least
Yeah, I
one,
mean,
at least one kid in every sport.
and I like to get our guys involved too. We get our Cubs goalies out there, and because think about it, you got an 8, 9, 10 year olds goalie, and they see they're coming to our games on the weekend. They see the goalie that they watched on Saturday, coming out to their practice on Wednesday. Think of how awesome it is for them to see that, right? It kind of gives them a little inspiration, and excitement, and it's really, really cool to see.
All right, coach. With that, I think we're gonna have to end this one here. We are running short on time, but we're back.
Oh,
We won the battle. We made it through with all the glitches and my own brain farts with messing up Alexi's name. I apologize, Alexi. Please don't come and try to fight me or send me
he's
to
a
the
big boy
boards.
too.
He's
You know, yeah.
he is. I've seen him be physical on the ice, and it's a little intimidating. But with that, coach, thank you for joining me on this edition of The Roar. I'm Clay Thomas. Find us on YouTube, Hershey Cubs The Roar, as well as at Hershey Cubs on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, or Hershey Cubs on Facebook. Hit that like button, subscribe, and follow us on all accounts. Fear the Roar.